Good evening. We are the Gossiping Book Wenches.
We are wenches that gossip about books.
And today we are discussing our mid-year wrap-up. Court is in session. I think that was pretty good.
We nailed that.
This is every book that we've read from January up till June this year.
Really quickly, there's going to be about double that you see here because I went on an absolute audiobook bender and I don't have any physical copies of any of these books, so I'm going to have to insert some pics.
I figure we should start with one that we both actually read together so we can discuss.
Yes.
And that is The One. Would you like to give the synopsis?
Okay, sure. So it starts... Hold on, I have to think. What is it about? It's like multiple POVs of a group of different people that none of them interact with one another, but they've all taken this futuristic dystopian DNA test that finds their perfect match. It's about each one of them trying to meet their perfect match and what that entails. And it's like, do you blow up your whole life for your perfect match if you were already happy?
What's cool is that it actually uses DNA to make the matches, so it was scientifically proven that this person is your genetic match. It's not just like a compatibility kind of test.
But it also opens up a can of worms of like humanity and will people take advantage of a test like that? And if they do, what does that look like? And if you're happy, do you get so tempted at the idea of your perfect match or obsessed over the fact that are you already with your perfect match and you know that whole thing? So I don't know, it's really interesting.
I think it's 5 POVs and the chapters are so short and you're just bing bang bop.
Oh my
like,
god,
through them so fast.
They all kind of end on like cliffhangers and yeah, they're like super short.
And then
it
you
goes
gotta
to
wait
like,
all the other
next
POVs to
person.
get back to the answers that you want from the POV that you left off on. POV. I described it previously as a telenovela mixed with a thriller because it was kind of like gasp at every turn, but it's just like outrageous at the same
really
time.
Good. I very much enjoyed it. It was a super fast read. I always say thrillers are good palate cleansers when you're like in between a series or trying to take a break from a series, and this one did everything I wanted it to for that purpose.
I think I rated it 4 stars. I really liked it. I never tend to give thrillers 5 stars. I feel like they always like just never cinch the ending perfectly, but the ending was good. Like I was satisfied with this one. I was not satisfied with the show. Couldn't get past the second episode. All the characters were different.
Yeah.
The plot lines were different.
There's a show on Netflix called The One, inspired by The One, and we literally
it was not
quit.
The One.
I thought you was the one! You're not even at the one!
We quit after episode 2 because, none of the characters were even the same. The plot wasn't the same, so why?
Yeah.
Why?
Read the book, don't watch the show.
Yeah, and
my recommendation.
And I rated it 4.1 stars.
Ooh, you gave it an extra
I gave it an extra 0.1.
The first book I actually finished this year was this massive Wind and Truth. This is the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, so I can't really talk much about this. But I will say I enjoyed it. I saw a lot of mixed opinions on this one, and I fall on the side where I was satisfied with it. I thought the pacing was better than the previous 2 Stormlight books. I thought there was a lot of action throughout the whole thing. And it follows a lot of 2 of my favorite characters, which are Evelyn and Seth. They got a lot of screen time in this book, so I was very happy about that. Is that spoilers? I think I ended up rating this one 4 out of 5 stars. This was the end of the first arc, but I will say it leaves a lot of threads to things that are going to happen in the future, and I thought I would be like a more conclusive experience. So now I gotta wait like 10 plus years for the next one. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I'm pretty sure he has like a bunch of other plans before he wants to get back to the series. So
I just finished book 2.
I'm a little upset about that. But 5-star series, A+.
Yay.
Love it.
Good.
Really good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
My next book, audiobook, was With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. And this one was a massive disappointment. I gave it 2.5 stars. So it was, the premise sounded really good. I was an Agatha Christie kid, and I read Murder on the Orient Express as a kid, so I think that this was intended to be like a nod to that story, and Then There Were None, also really good. And that kind of, both of those plots I felt like I felt within this plot, which sounds good, but it fell so flat. It just was like boring. It was too on the nose replica of that, but like not done well. And I basically called like absolutely everything that happened because I had read Agatha Christie, so I did not like this one. I've read other Riley Sagers that I didn't love, but I very much liked, and I've been going through a lot of his books. I will say I just started last night the last one left, the only one left.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I heard that one was one of his
It
top
started
ones.
off like I'm intrigued already. Like it started off really good. I'm already interested, and so I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm not like knocking this author as a whole, but from my understanding, this is probably their worst rated book, and I would have to agree. Okay, so basically there's this girl that she kind of plans and invites everyone onto this train that has been out of commission, and it's like for its final voyage, and all the people that get on the train had something to do with her family dying. She's trying to get revenge as the train is like going down and they can't escape, and by the end of the train ride they're supposed to get arrested at the end. But as with Agatha Christie, like night one, someone dies and it looks like a murder. And so everyone starts kind of turning on each other and freaking out and not trusting each other. And so now they're on like a train ride where everyone's dying. So it sounds like such a good premise.
Sounds good.
And it just fell flat. So yeah.
Since you mentioned Agatha Christie, I want to talk about The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, because this is also very much in the same vein of Agatha Christie lovers. The premise of this is so good. So it follows this man who wakes up in the middle of the forest and he has no idea who he is, what his name is, and he witnesses a murder. And he's like, what the heck? And he kind of follows his way up to Blackheath Manor, and here he finds out that he is to relive the same day over and over again in a different person's body in that manor to try and find out who murdered Evelyn Hardcastle. I had to like look at the cover to remember what her name was. It's very Groundhog's Day mixed with Agatha Christie, and doesn't that sound fantastic?
That sounds fun.
And I'm so sad because it fell so flat for me. There was a lot of good things I liked. There were two main plot twists at the end, and one I liked and one was just so convoluted. Like there was no hints, Easter eggs, drops to any of that plot being unveiled, so it's kind of just like a dump out of nowhere, and for what and for why. I will say though, I think that this will work so much better as like a movie adaptation, and I would eat it up still. I think some people might like the twist that I did not like, but for me it did fall a little flat.
I have one with a similar comment about it. It would slap as a movie, but it just kind of...
Really, everything I read, I'm like, I need the adaptation, whether I like it or not. This, I think I ended up rating it 3 stars overall. Which, like, 3 stars... Yeah, 3 stars means I liked it.
Yeah.
Anything below 3 is a no-go. But
that's funny, because I said, oh, that's not bad, and then I'm about to tell you about a book that I did not enjoy, and I rated it 3 stars. Take all ratings with a grain of salt. So, my next book is Crowntide, and actually, if anyone's watching this and has read this series, I would love to hear your comments.
I still have not read this
about
series,
this because I enjoyed Lightlark. The next one was okay. They got progressively worse for me. I thought this was the final book, and I was like ready, just like wrap it up. Let's be done. And apparently, there's more books coming out, and for what and for why. This book is dragging on way too much. There has been zero progress from the last book to Crowntide. Crowntide ends like basically at where it picked up, which I don't like. There's like no progress at all. I really like Grim, Oro. I like the characters, but it's dragging. I'm ready for it to be done. So I rated it 3 stars. I want to see if anyone else has opinions on it. I have a cousin that really likes it. Once the new book came out, I was like, what did I even, like, I don't even know what happened. I had to like try to recap, but I felt this book in particular, I won't speak for all of them, was very like telling me the plot, not like showing me the plot, or not letting me like live in the plot and have it unfold around me. It was just this happens and then that happens and then this, and it was just, it took me out of it and I just wasn't interested. So that is my critique, which is sad because the first book was really promising and cute. They're making a show or a movie. And I will eat it up, but the books are dragging.
I'll move on to The New Jim Crow. This was the only nonfiction book I've read this year. I typically like to read like a lot of memoirs and stuff, which I will try and do more of in the second half of this year. But this year I read The New Jim Crow, which basically is saying how we seem to have overcome slavery, but did we really? It's all just under a new system, and that is mass incarceration. And this book kind of covers all of those heavy topics and the war on drugs. And if you're not a nonfiction reader, I would recommend watching The 13th on Netflix, because I think
That's
the
so
author
good.
of this also interviews in that documentary.
I didn't know that.
And it's so good and really eye-opening.
I'm interested in this one.
If you do read this, get the 10th anniversary edition. Is that what I have? Yeah, because she wrote this before Trump was president, before even Obama was president, and she writes a foreword in the 10th anniversary edition, which kind of is sad because she's like, I wrote this over 10 years ago and
It got worse.
Unfortunately, it reigns more true now than it did even back then. Really good read, highly recommend.
I read another book that was kind of Jim Crow theming, so I'll bring that up now. It was called Ring Shout, and it was a very short audiobook. I feel like it was like 6 hours or something, and the concept was super cool. It was like Jim Crow era. They had the Ku Klux Klan. It was the Ku Klux and they were demons. And so it's about this black woman and her friends hunting these demons.
I love it. It's very Sinners sounding.
Yes, it was giving Sinners.
Pale, pale moon.
That is the plot was giving Sinners, which I absolutely loved that movie, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Do with that what you will. But I'll have to be honest, I wanted to love this more than I did.
This makes me so sad.
I know, I'm really sad too. And this is the one where I said I would agree with you, where like
Yeah.
this would be the most banger of a movie or a TV show. I think it was just so short. It was only 6 hours that you didn't get to like world build and character build enough heart into it. However, I absolutely recommend it, and it was like a beautiful story, a great concept. It had so much meaning. It brought up like really intriguing themes of hate and grief and taking revenge too far and becoming a monster yourself. Like, where's the line? It like the theming was really, really beautiful, and I feel like I kind of wish, and I might go back and read the physical copy. I feel like this would be a good one to highlight. I think there's a lot of beautiful symbolism in it, and I would definitely recommend it. But overall, audiobooking it, especially because I know that's a different experience, I just wanted to like be a little bit more connected than I was, but it was still like a really cool story, and it was super short, so it's like a really good one. I recommend to like anyone that's interested.
That one interested me a lot, so
Yeah.
it makes me sad that you weren't totally hype
Yeah.
about it. Next, I will talk about Demon Copperhead. This was a gift from my other sister for Christmas. This was a very depressing book, though. It was really good. It followed a boy from childhood pretty much through adulthood, and he was just a really poor kid living in a trailer park in the Appalachian area.
You went to trailer park.
And it just kind of discusses the trials these kids go through if you're growing up in poverty. And it follows the drug crisis or the opioid crisis that was going rampant in that specific area. I think in the 90s it takes place. It talks about just like how horrid the foster care system is, and how some foster families take in these kids, but you know, they're in it for the money and not the kids, and the kids still end up getting screwed over even though they have a place to go. And this particular character finds solace in playing high school football, and he's really, really good at it, but then he suffers a life-changing injury, and it kind of puts him on the trajectory of taking opioids. It does leave a hopeful connotation at the end, and the main character's voice is really funny, and he's really sarcastic and witty, and I think that kind of helps get through. It shows like a coping mechanism, I guess, for all of the trials he has to endure. I heard really good things about Barbara Kingsolver, so I'm kind of interested actually in reading some other stuff that she has, and this one, The Pulitzer Prize.
That's the coolest last name ever.
Kingsolver?
Kingsolver?
Yeah, I know. This is a 5-star book.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it was really good. The writing's great. I would recommend it for anybody who likes literary fiction, which she does not, so I don't recommend it for her, but it is really good.
On that note, let's talk about the romantasy that I read.
Now back to me.
I read books 3 and 4 now of the Crowns of Niaxia series. The Crown of Niaxia series has become like a comfort read to me, because I just love the way she's going about it, where they're all like duologies that can stand on their own, but then they all kind of like intertwine with each other too. And then there's a few standalones in the universe too. And so books 3 and 4 were about a side but main character of the first 2 books. These ones are called The Songbird in the Heart of Stone and The Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk. And they're vampire books. So there's like vampires, magic, love story. This one deals with a lot of themes of like processing trauma and grief, which got me in my feels more than I would have thought for like a book like this.
Yeah,
I
right?
actually really liked these books. I gave the first one a 4.5 and the second one a 4.25. Once again, take the ratings with a grain of salt because I was just feeling it, I guess, that night. And this one's fun too because they have to like go down into the underworld to like save things, and there's gods and vampires.
Love a good
There's kind of a
underworld.
lot going on, which sometimes I think gets cheesy, but I was into it. I was vibing. So I don't want to say too much and spoil it, but I really enjoy this, and the series as a whole has been really good.
The next kind of 2 books I read, because I read Immortal Longings and then I read the sequel after this one. I picked this up from Book of the Month like a few years ago and never read it, and then I saw it at the dollar store being sold for $1, and I was like, what the frick? Does this book suck? And so I was curious. And it in fact did not suck, but it was not the best. This is a Antony Cleopatra retelling, and it takes place in like a dystopian world called San R, which was supposed to be modeled after, what is it called? It's like that Beijing city that in the 90s was ungoverned because it was between British and Chinese control, and it just like grew up and it had like millions of people living in a congested area. Anyway, that was a thing, and that's what this city is kind of modeled after, which is pretty cool.
Knew something that I didn't.
Yeah, that was not a great retelling of the history, but it is very interesting if you go back and like want to research on it. The main premise of this, it's another kind of trials and challenge kind of Hunger Game type book where the city holds a game where the winner can, get all the riches and stuff. So the main magic system in this is body jumping, which I thought is really cool. I always love imposter type stuff. But all of the people that enter this competition can partake in body jumping and killing, and it's in the whole city. It's not like a confined arena, so poor like pedestrians can get slaughtered on the street, and it just is what it is. But our main character is Calla, and she is entering the games because she wants to take down the monarchy. And the winner of the games gets, a nice handshake with the king. So she's like, that's the way I can get close to him if I win. And then the Antony character is in it because he has like a loved one that's been in a coma for years, and somehow being in this tournament will help him save her. I don't know. I rated it 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but the ending had a really good twist that did really make me want to pick up the next one, so I ended up giving it 3 stars for that. And that is Immortal Longings.
My next book is a thriller, and it's my first Freida McFadden book, which it's called Never Lie, and it's about this couple that's house hunting, and they end up like driving to see this house like in the evening, and a snowstorm happens, and they're like, well, we don't want to freeze outside. Let's go in before our like real estate agent gets here. And then they're like, well, she's not here and we're kind of snowed in. And they end up like sleeping over in this like vacant house that they were thinking of buying. And the wife is like super creeped out by this house and hating it, and the guy's like just getting cozy and like overstaying his welcome kind of. And there's like a mystery surrounding this house. The woman that owned this house went missing, and there's like all kinds of weird stuff going on with that, like rumors from that era. And she ends up finding tapes, and the woman that owned this house was like a psychiatrist, and so she finds all her tapes with her like psychiatrist patients, and so it kind of ends up doing like dual POV of the couple in the house in present time, and then goes back in time to this psychiatrist woman and like her with taping her sessions and everything. I gave it 3.5. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like my favorite. But once again, when it comes to thrillers, they're always like a fun ride, but then kind of like a little bit
more about the
whatever.
journey,
I was laughing at myself though, because I thought I had this figured out. I was like, this is so obvious and stupid. I know exactly what's going on here. I thought I like called everything, and I was completely bamboozled. And then when I like looked it up later, apparently that's like a thing with Freida McFadden.
Bamboozlement?
Bamboozlement, yes. Like it looks like you know what's going on, and then she like totally like flips
Yeah.
it, and it's like nothing. And so I called nothing.
That's
Basically,
That
which
intrigues
is
me.
yeah. It wasn't like my favorite thriller ever, but it makes me intrigued on this author, and I want to see maybe more of her work in the future. I gave it a 3.5. I don't know if that was me being slightly generous. It might have been, but yeah, overall it was a good ride.
The next one I don't have. I read Yesteryear, which has swept the internet, at least
I'm
for me.
intrigued by that one. Yeah.
So if you don't know about Yesteryear, it is about this trad wife woman who is an influencer and finds herself living back in the day, having to live like the life she's posing on the internet. And that premise to me was so fun,
So
and I
funny.
was so excited to read
Yeah.
it. And it really is a mix between Ballerina Farm. It starts Ballerina Farm and it moves to Ruby Frankie by the end. And I'm seeing that parallel everywhere, and
I'm
the people are
interested.
correct. That is
I'm
very much
interested.
what it's like. I was expecting more from
Oh.
the timeline of her like trying to live in that like olden day time, and that really wasn't the main focus of the book at all. So I was surprised. It was good.
I'm very vocal
People
on
were
this one.
acting.
I'm interested.
It was very good, but I feel like people were acting like this was a groundbreaking book that has never been done before, and it was just fine.
It's
Like
been done
it was
before.
good. It wasn't anything like spectacular, but it is fun, worth the read, and I'm excited because there already is a movie in the works, I think, for this one. So
Ooh.
the plot twist at the end is good too. I think that was like the
Oh, there's a
only
plot twist.
twist that could have happened that would make sense for me to like it, and it did. So there's that. I think I rated it like 4 stars.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
This good for you.
Ah,
Okay, the next book I read is interesting. I don't know how this one's hard.
interesting.
Did I do that? Oh, look at
In my mind, that's what you did.
That's stupid. What's wrong with you?
You judgified me.
The next book that I read, I'm saying, carry on. You slammed as I was talking. I'm saying it's interesting because I recommend it, but also it's not going to be for everyone, and some people are going to read it and be like, this was so boring. The book is called I Who Have Never Known Men, and it follows this mysterious group of women that are locked in a jail cell underground.
A bunker?
Yeah, it's like basically a bunker, but they're like in a jail cell. The main character, POV, is the youngest girl in the cell who has like zero recollection of what any life at all was like outside of this cell. And it really is like a very philosophical existential crisis type of book that asks like, what is life without purpose or meaning? It's very much about like, you're not always going to have the answers, and so if you think this book ends with like a pretty bow, it's not gonna. You're gonna have questions when the book ends, and I think that's kind of the entire point of the book. It's really interesting because the main character starts off as a child, and you like age up with her through her entire life, and as a child she is very annoyed and feels ostracized from the rest of the women because she's the youngest and they kind of just don't even talk to her. And she has a very vivid imagination, and she starts to realize the effect that she can make on her small world just by like doing certain things. So she starts like staring at one of the prison guards and like realizes that it like makes him uncomfortable, and she's like, I made something happen, just me, like with nobody else's help doing it. Like it's yeah, so like she starts to like get more nosy, and then all of a sudden, and so it just follows this girl her whole life of isolation, and it's a very heavy, sad book, but it's very interesting, and it's not going to be for everyone. It's weird because like I don't know if I fully enjoyed like reading it necessarily, but like I do recommend it, and it was very much like a book that makes you think, and I don't know, it was just a very interesting book. I've never read something like it, and it was short. It was only 200 pages, so if you want something different, I would definitely recommend it. I gave it, what did I give it? I gave it 3.75.
I thought it would have been higher.
It's like
Just-
hard to read.
but I
It's
guess
just
you said
like
you didn't
slow,
really enjoy
not much
reading it.
it's like slow, not much happens, but like by the end of it, you're like, that literally is the point, kind of, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one to explain.
All right, the next one I read was Broken Country, and this is kind of like a thriller romance.
Interesting.
I read this in a day, and so it's kind of a blur, so bear with me here. I did rate it 5 stars. I enjoyed this one a lot. It literally captivated me in one sitting, basically.
Interesting.
So it follows a woman living the farm life in England with her husband, and the book starts out with you knowing that there is a murder investigation and a trial. So you kind of get glimpses of her living in the present and glimpses of the past, and you're trying to piece together what the heck is going on, what is this murder trial about. The catalyst of the story is that her brother-in-law shoots the neighbor's dog. Trigger warning, there is an animal death. But it's done very tastefully, I would say, and that makes her go to the neighbor's house, and she discovers that an old flame from her past is living there, and it was his son's dog that got shot, and it's her kind of like rebuilding that relationship with him, but also being married to this man in the present. And you also discover that she had her own child that had died tragically, that you're trying to figure out what happened with that situation back in the day. So it's a lot of time jump, a lot of love triangle, a lot of murder trial, and it's just very cool, very fast-paced, and I highly enjoyed it. I think if you enjoyed Yesteryear, which I was talking about earlier, you'd probably also enjoy this one. They kind of had similar kind of farm life vibes, and they were both thrillers. That's Broken Country. 5 stars.
5 stars. Well, my next book is not 5 stars. It is, in fact, one of my least favorite books that I've read this year, and it was called Tilt by Emma Pattee. The premise sounded interesting, and it's another short audiobook. That's what drew me to it. And the premise sounds so good, but it just, to me, was just boring. This pregnant woman is shopping in IKEA for a crib for her soon-to-be baby, first child, and it's that massive earthquake that everyone's always scared of, like on the west coast of the US. That's what happens. I forget what it's referred to as.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's like a big, massive earthquake over there that's like bound to hit anytime or something like that. It starts with this big earthquake, and it's about her trying to get home to find her husband in the midst of all this chaos. And the premise sounded really good, but I was in fact quite bored. I gave it 2.5 stars. This one I felt bamboozled by TikTok because I don't know why everyone was enjoying this one. I'm gonna be so for real. It was just so incredibly boring to me, and it kind of ends and like nothing even happens. It really was just following this like cynical woman talking about, I have to sneeze. Bless you. Okay, so the main character was like very cynical, which once I finished and was like looking at other people's reviews, a lot of people had issues with that. She was cynical, but that's not even the part that like bothered me. It's just like nothing happened. You would think in a book that starts with like this big earthquake that something would happen, but it didn't. She's literally just walking home like the entire time. Wandering aimlessly. Nothing really interesting happens, and then it just like ends. Without spoilers, that's basically what happened. So yeah, TikTok made me do it, and it was a regret for that one. But also, side note, the writing wasn't bad. And I think this was this author's first book, and so like there's always like a pang in my heart to give a harsh,
sucked.
yeah, to give a harsh review, because like writing a book is such an accomplishment. Baby. It's someone's baby, exactly. Yeah. And so like I already have regrets for going in so hard just now on that. Yeah, I'm sure she'll write more books and they will be better, but this one did not do it for me.
Well, the one that was more better is Red Rising.
Ooh.
I loved
list.
this book. It has me in a chokehold right now because I read this one, I read Golden Sun, and I am about to start the third one. A moment for how beautiful this edition is.
I have jealousy over this book.
All right. I don't even want to really say what this is about because I went
honestly.
I went in blind and I had the best time. Even just the first part of book 1 had me immediately, and I feel like that's rare in fantasy series because you have to get through. I mean, this is more sci-fi than fantasy, but getting through the world building and all that was not hard. This is ancient Rome aesthetic mixed with modern sci-fi, which is
I
interesting.
did not know that.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That's the vibes here. It's giving Harry Potter if everyone was Slytherin. It's giving Percy Jackson if everyone was Aries and Capture the Flag was more hostile. Like,
I've been doing something wrong because give me this one.
yeah, no, it's like everything that I love, and it really, the payoff is great. The second book was even better than the first. The hype was real for me for this one. I rated this one 5 stars, even though it does kind of give like a rinse and repeat of the tournament style trope.
I'm going to be honest,
But-
I eat up.
Yeah, I eat it up too. But the second
trials.
one starts getting into like its own story, and it was even better than the first, in my opinion. So
Oh, I love
cannot recommend enough. Red Rising, A+
this.
for me.
This is such a pretty book.
I know.
I'm jealous that you have this.
I have it.
Oh my god. Her boyfriend for their anniversary.
He
let
got me the
her-
best gift ever.
Let her go to Barnes and Nobles and gave her like 2 minutes to
Yeah.
pick as many books as she could or something.
Yeah, and it was lovely, and I never thought that would happen for
A
me, and it
dream.
did.
An
And then
absolute
that's
dream.
where I acquired this one.
I need a boyfriend just for that
Yeah.
to happen.
Highly recommend just for that.
The next book that I read was another thriller. I've been on my thriller game for like a year now. Last year was like very romantic-y. This year's been very thriller. It's called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave.
And then need a second.
I go through books so fast that I forget things. Okay. It's about a newlywed couple, but the man has a child from a previous marriage where the wife has since passed away. And it starts off in it immediately where she opens the door and there's a girl at the door, hands her a note, and it says, protect her. So new hubby goes missing and she leaves his daughter with her that's in high school and doesn't like her. And it becomes this mystery where it looks like his place of employment is like being investigated for fraud and all kinds of stuff. So she's like, oh my god, is he like wrapped up in that?
Mm-hmm.
And it like opens up a whole can of worms, and she goes on an adventure with his daughter and like uncovers a lot. I don't want to say too much because it's like gonna spoil. The ride had me. I was interested like what was going on, and then it actually fell like very short for me at the very end.
man.
There was like no climax to me. It ended very just like lackluster when
Good word.
Thank you.
Lackluster.
Yeah, you know. And it should have, I don't know. It was such an interesting ride that I was like interested. I was listening to this one a lot in the gym. Randomly enough. I still rated it a 3.75 because I was enjoying the journey, but at the end I was like, hello, nothing happened. So by the end of it, like there's just, I was expecting, especially for like more of a suspensey thriller mystery type of thing, to be like a bigger something at the end, and there kind of wasn't. So that was that one.
The last one I read was Yours Truly, which was a romance. And I actually read it after Wind and Truth because I needed a palate cleanser. And I never read romance, so I don't know why I picked up
that's
this
random.
one. But it was cute. It was about 2 doctors, and they kind of bonded through note passing and secrecy. And it was cute because they were like older as in they're not like teenagers. They're kind of in their 30s. And they both had previous traumas that they're still dealing with today, and they kind of do the whole fake dating and then miscommunication, and then they heal together. And the thing I thought was cute about this was that it was the male character that had like all the anxiety and overthinking, and I feel like typically that's seen in the female character, so it was kind of cute seeing it presented as the male. It was cute. I rated it 3 stars because romance isn't my typical genre, and I'm always like, that's stupid, you know? Like this man, like in the beginning of the book, is already ready to like donate his kidney to this girl's brother, and I'm like, whoa, you're kind of insane for that. If you're into romance, I'm sure it was a very good one. It was my first Abby Jimenez book, and I don't know if you know, but she's pretty popular on the book talk, so it was my first go at it, and it was good.
I haven't noticed her. I don't mind romance, but I need some fantasy plot going on with it. If it's like real life, I'm a little less interested, but that doesn't mean it's bad. That's just my taste. All right, my next book was another dystopian audiobook. Once again, it's called The Compund, and a lot of the descriptions say it's like Love Island meets Lord of the Flies.
I am very
I would be
intrigued by
honest,
that.
I ate this book up. Like, it was a quick, interesting read. It was very intriguing. It was definitely like Love Island, like a new bombshell has entered the villa.
Yes.
And like at the beginning, they're all like trying to date each other and stuff. But the premise is like whoever makes it the longer you last, there's people watching that will like, if you're a favorite, they'll like gift you things. Yeah, kind of like Hunger Games sponsor almost. It sounds like it's in a dystopian future place where life outside of the compound is like very dreary. And so like to even get into this compound, it becomes like this oasis to people. So like it ends up very like survival of the fittest to like stay in the house. And like,
Is there death?
I can't remember.
Is that a spoiler? Inconclusive.
I don't know if there was death, but there was like close to like stuff was stuff was
Because
going
Lord
down.
of the Flies still in my brain I associate with like cannibalism, and that's
Why?
that's
I
not-
do too, and it's
not
not.
even what happens in the book
I
at
don't
all.
know why. I thought they ate Piggy,
Yeah, no, I think they just killed.
and then I
him.
had to read it in school, and they did not eat
Spoilers!
Piggy.
Lord of the
Wait,
Flies
they did
spoilers.
kill Piggy?
Yeah, he did,
Piggy did?
but I don't think they ate him.
I don't remember.
I read it in high school. I don't know.
Well, same, and yeah. Anyway, yeah. So like, there's cameras watching them at all angles. It's definitely giving like Love Island, or what's the one on
Big
Netflix?
Brother.
Well, yeah, but like, what's the one on Netflix that I like with Lana, where they can't touch?
Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle. It's giving like Too Hot to Handle, and yeah. So they start like doing things to get prizes, and the longer they stay in, the prizes get better, and they can take the prizes home with them. So like, when they get voted out of the house, like they have to leave, and like some of them are like trying to leave into this like desert wasteland with their stuff. Like, it's
Yes.
funny, and it's interesting too, because by the end of it, it has like interesting themes of like, when you have it all, are you happy? Like, because by the end of it, you know, the people that last the longest, they're like trying to stay there because they keep getting more things, and then it's like, do any of those things actually give you any satisfaction at the end of the day? Once you all have it all, like it really like loses its meaning. It's just stuff. And so that was like a cool, interesting theme too. And then there's that underlying like dystopian, like what's going on out there thing that kind of remains a mystery too, but is also very intriguing. So yeah, I really liked this one. I gave it a 3.75.
Respectable.
The next one I also ate up, but then I wasn't like fully sold on the ending, as is with most of my thriller reads. It's called The Best Offer Wins, and it's about this woman has been married to her husband. They're trying to have a baby that's been like slow going. Every house they put an offer into gets like outbid, and so she becomes really desperate for this idea of like, once I get the house, then the baby's gonna happen, and then everything's gonna be better. And so she catches wind from her real estate agent that there's a house that is like exactly what she's looking for in like a really good neighborhood, but it's not on the market yet. And so she kind of gets a little unhinged, and it becomes more and more unhinged as the story goes, but she goes sneak to try to look at the house before it goes on the market, and like tries to befriend the family, and like they have no idea she's interested in buying the house, and like they're like, oh my god, let's be friends, and they like invite her to their house for a dinner party, and like her inner dialogue is like plotting what she's gonna do to the house.
This, and this.
Yeah, and then they find out that she was like the weird person that was like already looking into the house before it was on the market, and they're like, stay away from my family. And then after that, she just gets unhinged, like she wants this house, and it just like shows like the rift that it causes with her husband, and like the lengths,
you crazy.
the lengths she's willing to go to like get this house from this family. It's really funny. It's actually hilarious and like super unhinged. So I like this one. I gave it a 3.75 also. All right, my last one I also really enjoyed. I gave it a 4-star. Not Quite Dead Yet. And it's about this girl that goes by Jet, and on Halloween night she goes home and is like bludgeoned. I know, it starts off real fast, and she wakes up in the hospital, and her whole family's there, and the doctor's looking really grim, and they essentially tell her, there's a part of your skull like dislodged, and the bone is like in a place where in about a week's time you're gonna have 2 weeks time you're about to have like a brain aneurysm that's gonna be fatal. Like, it's gonna be a really fatal brain aneurysm. You can wait the 2 weeks and then just enjoy life in those next 2 weeks, or we can try to do surgery to take this bone fragment out, but there's only a 10% chance of survival. So
Right.
basically, do you want to live for 2 weeks or do you want to
Die now.
die right now? And her mom is like in denial and freaking out and like wants her to take the surgery just for the chance to survive.
Yeah.
But she's like, I want to solve my murder because basically I'm dead, but not quite dead yet. So the next 2 weeks is her like trying to solve her own murder.
That's very Last Holiday with Queen Latifah, but like make it thriller.
Yeah. And it's by Holly Jackson, which
Yeah.
Good Girl's Guide to Murder,
that
which you
excites
really
me.
like.
Yeah,
I
that-
never read.
You liked this one because
Yeah.
I want her to read Good Girl's Guide.
I
and
really liked this.
the
And
fact that she likes this one makes
yeah,
me
I
more
really liked this. I
promised.
gave it 4 stars, and then I looked at reviews, and people were kind of bashing it, and I was surprised
Really?
because I was really
Aw.
maybe I was in the right mood for it because I was on the airplane. It was like my
Yeah.
travel read, so I was just like really into it. But I really liked it. I thought it was good.
I feel like that author's just really good at writing fast paced, and the plot twists are always good. Like
Yeah.
each book in that Good
It was
Girl's
a
Guide
good
series
whodunit
was a good
too,
plot twist.
because you know she's like going to all the different people in the town. So like there's a lot of suspects that you can like be like, okay, why would they have done it? Why would they have done it? And like all of them have done shady things. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Piecing together
I
the
do kind of
mystery.
wish the ending could have been slightly different than it was, but I'm also like not entirely mad at it. There definitely was a lot of things that it would have been nice to have closure on a few thread points that didn't get closed up. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good book. I liked it.
I think that wraps up everything we read in the first half of the year, huh?
Yeah, I read a lot.
All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Bye. That was kind of lame.
Kind of lame.
But
That was decent. It's broken. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.
I'm pretty sure if you watch this one all the way to